Welcome back to Grid Drop. Today, we're going to help you get faster around one of Formula One's best and most iconic tracks, Silverstone. If you enjoy this video, feel free to leave any feedback or questions in the comment section, or my Discord, which is linked in the description. That being said, let's get right into it. This video will be broken down into 5 sections: car setup, Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3, and finally, a full lap. These sections are all equally important, so stay tuned to the end of the video if you really want to improve. So here's the setup I run at Silverstone. Feel free to pause this video and screenshot this if you want to try out this setup on your own. This setup prioritizes front end grip throughout the entirety of the track without sacrificing straight line speed. As a disclaimer, this setup is a general baseline for you to start with and applies to both hot laps and a race. I recommend doing a few laps of this setup and tweaking it to fit your own style. Heading towards the first corner, you want to keep your foot pinned to the floor. Watch the right side of the track and keep an eye out for the curb on the right. Once at the 50-meter board, turn in and stay completely flat out. You should aim to use some of the curb on the right here and let your car naturally flow to the left side of the track on exit. Now, stay flat out and stick to the left curb for this long left-hander. Coming into the next corner, straighten out your car and brake just after where this curb starts on the left. I usually brake after this long white section, where the black and white checkered section begins. Under braking, start turning in around 10 meters after the 50-meter board. When turning in, keep your steering angle tight and aim for this curb on the right. Be very careful not to touch this red raised curb, as this will shake you around a lot. When exiting the corner, stick towards the middle of the track and slowly start accelerating. You can reach full throttle here. Sway towards the right side of the track and prepare to brake for the next corner. There isn't really a braking point for this corner, it's more helpful just to keep your eye on the corner and judge your braking by distance. When braking, start rotating the car into the corner. This is a very harsh angle and it's easy to accidentally understeer off the track. Make sure to avoid the red raised curb on the left, and when exiting, use the full width of the exit curb on the right. Now, stay flat out and aim to use the left curb on the upcoming left-hander. Keep the throttle pinned down and sway to the right side of the track and use the exit curb. That's a run through of Sector 1, now let's see it at full speed. Sector 2 starts with a tricky left-hand corner. Keep an eye out for the meter boards on the right, and you want to brake just beyond the 50-meter board. As soon as you start braking, start turning in. You want to stay wide for a split second longer than it looks, as the apex of the corner is actually slightly later than you think. Try your best to touch the inside curb on the left here. Into the next corner now. Again, there isn't really a super visible reference point for braking. I usually kind of just remember where to brake. I did notice a small red curb on the right is about where I start braking, and it's very hard to use as a reference point because it's so small and hard to see, but it could work if you need one. This corner is a light braking, long, sweeping right. Shift down to 3rd or 4th gear here and try to go a bit wider mid-corner and then tighten it back up. On exit, use the exit curb on the left. A good exit is important here, so try to get on the power as early as you can without creating wheel spin. Down the back straight now, obviously staying flat out and approaching Copse Corner. In my opinion, this is the most difficult corner of the lap. From year to year, the approach for this corner changes, and this year it's just a lift of the throttle. When you reach the 50-meter board, have a small lift and then back flat out again. While doing so, turn in and aim to tap the curb on the right-hand side. With around a 30% lift and then immediately back to full throttle, you should have the perfect cornering speed and naturally sway out wide to the left. Try to use the exit curbs on the left here. Now, heading into Maggots and Beckett's, probably the most fun part of the lap. Stick to the middle of the track, and when the first left approaches, take a direct line towards it and try to hit the curb on the left. Stay flat out into this corner. Pretty much as soon as you're mid-corner here, you're going to have to start turning into the next one. You can continue to be flat out here if you have a perfect line, but you can also have a tiny lift if you really need to. Try to use the inside curb here, and on exit, sway to the middle of the track, but no further. If you are too far to the left here, then your run through these corners is completely compromised. Entering the next corner now, you want a slight tap of the brakes and a single downshift. Try to use the inside curb here as well. As soon as you're off the brakes, go full throttle again. Your car maintains grip through these corners since they're such high speed. Into the next corner now, you want a slight tap of the brakes and 2 downshifts. Be patient with the shifting, you don't have to downshift immediately. Try to use the inside curb here, and as soon as you can make the corner comfortably, get back on the throttle. You can be pretty aggressive slamming on the gas here. If you do it right, your car should naturally widen out to the left side of the track here. Keep the throttle pinned and stick to the left side of the track before naturally swaying to the right on that small kink. Enable DRS and fly down the straight. So that's a breakdown of Sector 2, now let's see it at full speed. Sector 3 is quite short. Heading down the straight now, this next corner can be a bit tricky, but very smooth if you nail it. Keep an eye out for the meter boards on the left. You want to brake just after the 50 meter board. Start turning it a couple of meters after you start braking. Ideally, you want 2 downshifts here, and try to stick to the inside curb, but again, be patient. The apex is a little bit later than you think. Once at the apex of the corner, push to full throttle. Now, sway out to the left and use the exit curb. Once heading into the next corner, slowly sway to the right side of the track and keep an eye out for the meter boards on the right. You want to brake just after the 100 meter board here, right where the curb starts on the right. This is a very heavy braking zone, and once you're slowed down enough, keep your eyes focused on the left curb. You want to take some of the black and white curb here, but again, avoid the red raised curb. Careful on the throttle here, this part can be kind of slippery. Accelerating now and turning into the next corner, again, avoid this red raised curb. Slowly start putting the power down and sway to the left side of the track, riding this left-hand curb. Once at full throttle, you should be keeping your eyes focused on the final corner. Aim to hit this curb on the right, and then sway naturally to the left-hand side of the track. That's a look at Sector 3, now let's see it at full speed. Now let's take a look at a full lap. So there you have it, a full lap of Silverstone broken down corner by corner and sector by sector. If you have any questions or need more tips, feel free to leave a comment on this video or in my Discord. Also, let me know if you want to see more track guides, and if so, which ones would you like to see. So if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.